plan for it for the desired retirement age that you wish to achieve, right? Now let's look at the landscape in the Singapore working age timeline. So 55 years old is when you start withdrawing money from your CPF retirement account. So this is the first time you actually start to withdraw funds from your CPF finally, right? So I will introduce this concept called full retirement sum, FRS. I think now it's about 202,000 for those turning 55 years old this year. So if you meet this FRS, full retirement sum, the excess above this full retirement sum you can actually withdraw from the CPF board in any amount and as regularly as you want, right? But your base amount, the FRS, has to be set aside because it will form CPF Life to give you a monthly income for life when you hit 65 years old, right? So this ensures that every Singaporean will have a base monthly payout from CPF board for life so long as they live, right? So I believe CPF Life payouts can you know fulfill some of the basic retirement needs. Okay, and above that, you can dip into your other investments and savings to top up the differences in your lifestyle. And currently, MOM stipulated retirement age is 53 years old. So before that, the employers cannot legally ask you to retire right before this age. So uh, and 65 years old is when you start to get the payout from CPF board, okay, from CPF Life. And this is the recontract age, okay, limit. So if you work past the MOM retirement age of 53 years old, you can apply to contract with the employer up to 68 years old currently. I think we are pushing ahead to 70 as well, okay, because of our aging population. So this is expected to be longer, right? Longer working lifespan, right? So if you're healthy, you can arrange to actually recontract your employer until this age, 68 years old. So that will give you more room to build up your CPF savings and also build up your retirement nest egg if you wish to, right? Now, how much do we need for retirement? This is a research from the Straits Times article. A single man, a woman aged 65 above will need about $1,400 a month to sustain the current standard of living. Of course, this includes other needs for expenses for short holiday and social activities. Okay, but I feel that 1,004, it may not be sufficient to meet your current basic needs, right? So it will also not be sustainable to rely on our family members like our children, for retirement, right? Because they are also stretched with their own duties of taking care of the children, the house and the car and the mortgage payments. And therefore, we need to make sure that we are well prepared and to set aside our own fund for retirement so that we are the last sandwich generation. This is some of the risks faced by retirees. Number one, longevity risk. We do not know how long we'll live for, right? And whether our savings, can tide us to this age. If we live, if we are living a very long life, okay, we need more savings ahead. Inflation risk. I'm sure this is a very, you can feel it in the goods and prices that we're consuming now. When you go to buy your daily necessities, things are becoming more expensive. And number three is investing risk, because the market always has fluctuations. Asset values rise and fall according to market news. And the key to investing is to have a long investment horizon, right? So if you're hitting your retirement years soon, you may wish to park your funds into lower risk assets such as into fixed income or bonds to actually reduce the volatility of the portfolio and to capture some of the gains you've earned over the years. Because your investment horizon, the amount of time in the market uh, is lesser as compared to someone who's younger and can go through more economic cycles as compared to you. So you may want to take lesser risks for investment portfolio and conserve some of the gains that you can achieve. And currently it's in a high interest rate environment. So uh, even if you put your funds to fixed deposits, T-bills, fixed income funds, you could achieve a very decent return without taking too much risk. Point number four is about overspending, because the retirement years, typically by research, the first 10 years, the first half rather, first 10 years of your retirement, you actually spend more, and the second half you spend lesser. So if you spend too much in your first half of the retirement years, you leave lesser funds for the second half, right? And fifth portion is actually healthcare risk. Whether you are insured with your hospitalization plan, covered up to maybe a private ward stay or up to government ward A with the rider. And if you're not covered with a private individual shield plan, you'll just have the Medishield Life, which can only meet generally the basic needs, healthcare needs up to a certain ward, and um, the excess above that we have to dip into our savings and liquidate our investments to pay for if we actually have a huge medical expenses. So it's very important to buy sufficient insurance, medical insurance to cover this risk. And number two, what people don't know is actually the premiums for the shield plans. It has been escalating in recent years due to the increase in healthcare spending. And when we are planning for retirement, we need to set aside close to 1 to 2,000 cash per year to set aside for this shield care premiums, this shield plan premiums, right? So as we make sure that we're actually able to sustain the plan and to continue to have the coverage, because we never know when we might be hit by a huge medical bill if we need to have the treatment, right? If we need the treatment, it's going to be immediate and we need it, we got to have it, right? So these are some risks faced by retirees, and it's very important to have a plan to mitigate all the previous risks, okay, through having insurance, a good insurance and investment planning for yourself, okay. This is the survey of senior workers in Singapore. We surveyed what's your ideal retirement age. Okay, so you can see majority actually want to work. You know, they intend to retire between 60 to 69 years old. This is when they feel that they want to retire. So that's the main age that they see themselves retiring. And one of the reasons why people want to continue working is to actually remain physically and mentally active, to continue to have social interactions with society, and continue to be mentally and socially engaged, and so that we do not start to lose touch with society, and it may cause you know um, uh, to remain engaged with society, right? And number two is as well to have a sense of purpose, right? To maintain social connections. This is a private poll that we did for some of the attendees. So you can see that actually 53% of the attendees wanted to retire when they are 60 and below. Okay, there's a good 60% actually want to retire, when they are 60 and below, right? So this highlights the importance of financial planning for retirement. If they want to retire early, right, they need to plan for it, okay, and use the effect compounding returns of the investment portfolio uh, to actually reach the nest egg. And how much do you actually need for retirement? We actually pulled the survey. Okay, you can see that actually 2004 is really very basic. A good 43% stated they need more than $3,000 per month for comfortable retirement. 30% said they needed about $2,000, $3,000 per month for retirement. All right. So close to 70% of the group agreed they need more than $2,000 per month for retirement at least. Okay, for a decent retirement. So you see, if we to calculate age of 60 to 80, that's 20 years, and let's say we need $3,000 a month, that's $36,000 per year. Then you need actually 720,000 for retirement, right? The nest egg that you need to achieve, that you start to draw down from, okay, to meet your retirement needs. So next I'll touch on CPF. Okay, why they actually come up with CPF Life? Because about half of us are expected to live beyond age 85. One in three of us are expected to live beyond age 90. Okay, it's a longer life expectancy, but the quality of life that we have also is very important. So we don't want to be wheelchair bound. We want to be physically active. So it's very important to watch your diet, have regular exercise, to maintain a positive outlook. Amidst all this, right? So CPF board actually came up with CPF Life to actually counter this, provide a solution for this scenario. And this picture is about saving, right? So you want to accumulate your wealth over the working years and to achieve a saving nest egg, and you want to draw down from this nest egg during your retirement years. It's a very simple concept for retirement. Okay, so I'll just touch on the basic interest rates for CPF. I'm sure all of you are very familiar. CPF ordinary account earns a rate of 2.5%. First, 20,000 OA enjoys an additional 1%, so that's actually 3.5%. The purpose of OA mainly is to pay for your housing and education needs, right? To pay for the mortgage if you're taking CPF loan. CPF SA is earning 4%. Main purpose is to build for retirement for member. So enjoys a 4% return, but take note that first 40,000 in SA enjoys additional 1% return, so that's 5% return, right? CPF Life is 4%. As you might have known, it's used to pay for your shield plan premium, pay for your medical expenses, and also premiums for your long-term care disability plan, right? Of course, I'll just touch and go. If you have more queries, you can always email me on these insurance plans, right? A retirement account is to actually build for your premium for your CPF Life annuity. Okay, this CPF Life is a government annuity for all the members, right? So first 30,000 earns 6%, second 30,000 earns 5%. Okay, so it's very important to, especially when you turn 55 years old, take note of this return. Okay, because this first 30,000 of 6% and second 30,000 of 5% can really help you to accelerate and build up your retirement account, and at least you can meet the basic retirement sum BRS. Okay, as you can get about $700 per month, which is a decent kind of payout for life. Okay, everyone can take a read. The guarantee on CPF interest rates, they're invested into SSGS, which is guaranteed by the Singapore government. And as you know, the credit rating for Singapore is actually AAA, rated by S&P, Standard & Poor's. Okay, now the CPF withdrawal age. When you hit 55 years old, your retirement account will be created for you, and savings up to your FRS will be taken from your SA first, and OA, the remaining OA will then be transferred over to the retirement account. Okay, so this is the very important to take note, right? Very important, right? And you can withdraw your SA and OA savings after setting aside your FRS in your retirement account. So once you set aside retirement account, you can actually withdraw the excess from CPF board as you wish. And when you hit 55 years old, you can actually lock in this FRS for the year, and you have until 65 to catch up for this CPF line. For those, you can take a look at the table here, right? So you can see FRS here. Okay, so apologies. So for example, FRS here, you can see 2023 is about 198,800. Okay, for those turning 55 this year, this is the FRS amount to keep. Okay, and you can just refer here if based on 192,000, 190 is closer to 200K. If you set aside this amount, roughly thereabout, you can actually get close to about 1,500 to 1,600 per month, right? Once you set aside this 200K for the FRS amount. So thereabout, you can less a bit to be about 1,500 to 1,600. Okay. And just take note that the FRS will increase every year, usually by about $5,000 or $7,000. And why is there an increase? Because the payouts are also increasing, right? Because inflation will continue to go on, right? and therefore, to keep in pace with inflation, the payouts also got to step up to actually protect the purchasing power of the money. Okay, and therefore, the FRS also increases as you join FRS later. For my age, I have calculated it could be about 300 plus K for the FRS, and of course our higher monthly payout is 65 years old. Okay, so this is very important to take note. Okay, BRS is half of FRS, and enhanced BRS is 3 times of BRS. Okay, so of course you get more. If you have more in your CPF, you can set aside more, and you'll get more payouts. Right. So based on 288, right? Sorry, 298. Okay, let's say 288, you're getting about 2000 plus, right? You see here. So if you're just meeting the BRS, so that's half of FRS, so the payout is about half. Okay. Um, so let's say 96,000 here, it's talking about 800 plus, right? Now, so that's for CPF Life. And within CPF Life, there's also 3 different plans to select from: standard, basic, escalating plan. So let me explain in the chart later. Right. Escalating is you're getting lesser now and getting more in the back. Standard plan is the highest payout from the start, and basic plan you get low payout from the start, right? And tax relief, okay, you can top up to for yourself or your loved ones. You can actually enjoy tax relief up to $16,000 per year. So you will reduce your taxable income, right? Okay, this is the 3 plans, all right. So escalating, you get lesser at the start, 1,002, and you get more about 2,000 plus at the end, right, in the 90s. Basic plan, you get a lower payout, about 1288 to 1424 on the blue line. Orange line is standard payout. So standard payout, you're getting about 1,004, 1,005 a year. Okay, so they're high payout. Okay, and this is bequest. Okay, because this is a drawn out from the CPF NOT, right? So when the NOT start to get drawn down, right, your CPF life, main CPF life amount will also start to draw down, right? So by 80 plus years old, 82, you have observed that your escalating has been drawn to zero, standard has been drawn to zero, but your basic, if you were to keep at 82 years old, there's still close to about 125, 122K as bequest for your next of kin, right? And you're just drawing about maybe $100 to $200 lesser, right? So these are 3 different plans that you can consider with your according to your retirement needs. Okay, so we have basic, standard, escalating, and highly recommend that you can actually call the customer CPF board, customer service officer, or head down to branches to find out more about this selection, right? And of course, now I'll move on to SRS. SRS is a voluntary scheme to encourage individuals to save for retirement over and above the CPF savings, right? So SRS members can contribute a very amount to SRS at their own discretion. They can contribute $1, they can contribute $15,000 per 300, right? So you can apply to open an account. All Singaporeans, PR, and foreigners. You need to be at least 18 years old, not an undischarged bankrupt, and you can open an SRS account with any of the 3 local banks, right? So for example, Singaporean PR or foreigner, you open an account with SRS operator. So there's the 3 local banks, UOB, DBS, OCBC, and you have a SRS bank account, and from there, you link up your SRS bank account with various financial institutions, and you start to invest money in a approved list of investments. So the annual contribution cap for citizens and PR is $15,000, 300. Foreigners is $35,700. Okay, so how does it work? Okay, so you contribute your SRS every year. Okay, when you work. Okay, and up to your statutory retirement age at 62 years old, you can start to withdraw over 10 years. Okay, and the amount that you withdraw during these 10 years, take note that there will be a 50% uh, a tax on the amount they withdrawn. So meaning if I withdraw, let's say 20,000 here, $10,000 will be added to my IRA's overall income, okay, to be taxed, okay, at a different rates. Okay, so 50% of what the amount withdrawn, they know is taxable, right? So when you start to withdraw, you have a 10-year window to withdraw a full amount. There's no limit the number of times you can actually withdraw without penalty. 50% of this withdrawal will be tax exempted. The other 50% will be taxable. If you were to withdraw before the statutory retirement age, 100% of the sum withdrawal will be subjected to tax. Meaning you withdraw before 62 years old. Okay, let's say you withdraw 50K. The full 50K will be added to your chargeable income for the year. And before that, the bank also charge you a 5% premature withdrawal penalty. So there'll be 5% charge on the 50K, and the rest they are withdrawn, and the amount withdrawn, 100% will be subject to tax. Okay, unless it's imposed on an exceptional basis, right? So if at the end of the 10-year withdrawal period, if there is still money or investment remaining in your SRS account, 50% of the amount is subject to tax. So, for example, you start to draw down 62, and after you forgot to draw down, and you were to leave a huge amount at the end. Okay, let's say there's a remaining of 100K by the end of 10 years. So if there is money or investment remaining in your SRS account, 50% 20K, okay, will be subject to income tax. So 50%, 100K is 50K. 50K will be added to your chargeable income for the year, right? So it will make more sense to do regular withdrawal from SRS account so that you can actually start to leave lesser funds at the back and to manage your withdrawals accordingly. Okay, now everyone can just look at this table. Okay, so for yearly someone earning $50,000 annual income, less of the reliefs without SRS and with SRS, there's a difference of about in terms of tax payable, difference of about $396. Okay. In terms of tax savings, if you're earning 90,000, there's a savings of 1071, and of course, if you belong to 180,000, there's also saving of 1760 in terms of tax payable. So overall, if you contribute to SRS, you should lower your taxable income, and therefore total tax payable is reduced as well. Okay. Now, we understand the SRS account, the setup, and we'll actually, if you want to reduce your taxable income, we'll actually start to place funds in SRS. So instead of letting the SRS funds stay idle, you need to make your money work harder. You can enjoy better financial security for retirement with a full range of investment options. So SRS can actually invest into a single premium endowment plan, for example, a single premium investment linked policy, right? Or you can actually invest SRS into certain unit trust. You can also invest SRS into certain shares, into money market funds, or into our managed account service. So there's a whole range of instruments here that you can actually tap into with your SRS funds. Okay, and it makes sense to invest SRS because the interest rate in SRS account is only 0.05% per annum. And with the current higher inflation going on, it's actually eroding your SRS funds. So do make your funds work hard for you according to your own investment risk profile and your suitability, right? Uh, uh, if you don't want to take so much risk, okay, you can lower your risk by going the insurance plans or money market funds. If you're comfortable with risk, understand the various risks involved with the investments, unit trust, you can go into all these instruments, right? So what are people actually investing with SRS? 10% actually goes into unit trust. A good 27% invest into insurance plans, 1% into fixed deposits, 26% into share, REITs, and ETF. And this is where it's more concerning because 20% you leave funds idle in the SRS account. And so might not be so ideal because, as I mentioned earlier on, the car is only earning about 0.05%, right? So overall, this is the overall idea that how you can actually utilize SRS to grow your money into a huge retirement nest egg. So Mr. Tan at 40 years old, annual asset income of 100K, he contributes $15,000 300 to the SRS account every year from age of 40 years old, right? So every year he diligently contributes 15.3K into the SRS account at a 4% return per year. Okay, he built up the nest egg over time, right? And by age of 62, Mr. Tan retires, and he actually accumulated up to 545,000 alone in SRS account, okay, because of a 4% return. And a 4% return over a 22 years horizon, I would say it's achievable ballpark estimate. All right, it's with such a long horizon, it's actually very comfortable to 4% per year. Okay, so this amount, Mr. Tang is started to do a regular withdrawal, okay, from his SRS to supplement his CPF life and savings to just meet his retirement needs, right? So benefits of SRS, you save more for retirement, pay less tax. Okay, every dollar of SRS contribution increase your taxable income by $1. SRS account and interest giving. Cash in SRS can be used to invest in various investment instruments. Investment returns in SRS can be tax free, right? Now, I just want to share about how we plan retirement for our clients. Okay, we actually two different categories: fixed and discretionary. So fixed are what we call the fixed expenses. This is what we call non-negotiable. You have to incur this on a monthly basis. Okay. Okay, so these are things like your healthcare and medical supplements, like telephone bills, food, drinks, utilities, transport, taxi, MRT, bus, Grab. These are things you incur on a monthly basis as you go about your retirement, right? And discretionary is like a good to have, if you have the funds, the availability. We call this the non-guaranteed. Okay? It's a non-guaranteed kind of expenses, right? So these are things like maybe a holiday trip to far away, or a gift for your children, grandchildren, maybe high-end dining, car, miscellaneous. Okay, it's good to have if you have extra resources to meet it. Okay, otherwise you can actually just meet on the basic standard, for example, right? Okay, these are some of the investment tools, investment knowledge that we want to share as well. So currently the US interest rates with current hikes close to about around 5.25 to 5.5% range currently, and there's expected to be one or two more hike or pause. Okay, once again, we don't know how the Federal Reserve will react. But the more likely scenario is that they're likely to have one more hike or a pause, and perhaps if the inflation is well under control, you can start to see a reversal in trend downwards. Okay, and that will leave most of the equity markets worldwide. But remains to be seen. So we are monitoring the updates from Federal Reserve very closely. And this is one factor that the Federal Reserve watch closely, which is the inflation. They want to see that inflation is well under control for a sustained period of time before they start to reduce the interest rates. You can see that inflation rate has really worked coming to be reined in very effectively by the interest rate hike. As you can see on the data, it's downward trend. Okay, and this is due to the easing of supply chain due to most of the countries removing the COVID restrictions, and also because of the interest rate hike. When high interest rates, there's lesser money going about in the economy, spending, and therefore prices of goods and services tend to drop as well in terms of the demand side. And supply side also improved because there's lesser disruption from in the supply chain by the COVID lockdowns. Okay, and the situation start to ease up, right? So they want to see that it's sustained at the sustainable low region before they start to consider cutting rates. Okay, so this is what we call an all-weather portfolio that we will design for clients. I'll help my client design a dividend portfolio. So this is contributed by all the funds. Usually, the dividend portfolio consists of 6 funds. They are all dividend paying. So most of the funds are monthly paying dividends, and some of them are quarterly paying. So the core we designed to be a very stable and well diversified portfolio to withstand the global volatility. Okay, so this usually in the middle here we have a 50 to 60% core, all right, and we'll put in global equities and global bonds, or Asian equities, Asian bonds, depending on client preference. And the 4 satellites here we will design as a satellite in the portfolio. So this is used to design to pursue alpha, which is return above benchmark for the portfolio. So we'll add into things like invest into things like, for example, into teams like artificial intelligence, because AI is now at an early stage of the development. We believe that there's more growth and potential in the AI sector, and it will start to profoundly change our lives in the next few decades or so. Okay, so this will be one team that we are invested in, and another one will be technology, and perhaps into China or into India. Okay, so these are things conversation we'll have with client before we design the investment portfolio for the client. So this every dividend portfolio is customized to the individual client's risk profile and investment suitability. All right. So if you're interested to come up with this dividend portfolio, to craft up this, you can actually make an appointment with me and we actually design this for you. All right. So this is the as of now, this is the weightage: 65% into equities, 30% into fixed income, and about 2+% into cash. And the dividend yield is about 4.87%. And these are some of the funds that we're using now, okay, for the moment. Right. So if you're interested in this investment portfolio, you can always reach out to me, my email, and we can have a coffee at my branch, and we can actually come up with this curated investment portfolio. Right. Next one, I want to share about this plan called TMLS Gold Elite by Tokio Marine. So this is a plan that you can utilize SRS funds. Because earlier we talked about SRS. Okay, so we can actually go into a Sing dollar policy, and this policy can actually do partial withdrawal anytime, switch to policy currency, change the life insured. But mainly this is to actually to as an instrument to place your SRS funds in. Okay, because these funds allow access to a certain fund and known as Fundsmith. Fundsmith is actually it's a very good fund managed by Terry Smith and his team, and they have published a book how to make money by only buying best companies in the world, and they actually designed a Fundsmith equity fund owners manual. Okay, why? They actually run into their how they invest at Fundsmith, how they pick best stocks, and how do they charge you, and all the investment philosophy. And this fund performance has been very very good over the last 10 years or so, and it's continued done well year to date. Okay, so I have a client that actually invested cash uh, into this insurance policy, and this fund was selected, okay, because of the fund performance. Right, so you can look at the returns of the fund as this is as of 30th June analyzed. So the fund was launched in back in 2011. So so the returns as from inception to as of end June is about 527% growth. Okay, in terms of the annualized return compounding is achieved close to 15.6% per annum return since inception back in 2011 to 2023 now. Okay, so you can see that this is a very fantastic performance on Smith. Okay, and fund size close to 23.8 billion pounds. Okay, and average holdings, the number of holdings is around 26 companies. And you can see here that the annualized rate of return is 15.6% as of end of 30th June, right? So this is a fund you can consider, okay, if you want to look at your SRS funds, okay? And these are some of the top 10 holdings for FundSmith. You see here Microsoft, uh, Novo Nordisk, L'Oreal, LVMH, Meta Platforms, IDEX, Visa, McCormick. McCormick deals with the spices and food sector. Visa is the payment platform. IDEX is dealing with pet equipment, those syringes and all these for pets. Okay, so these are some of the values that FundSmith actually adhere to. All right. So no shorting, no index hugging. Okay, no hedging, no debt, no nonsense, no fees for performance. They just buy into a small number of high quality, resilient global growth companies that they are at a good value and they wish to hold for a long time and in which so they invest their own money into. Right. So this is how they select stocks. They just pick the best quality, resilient growth companies and hold them for a very long time. And that's actually how they achieve their investment track record. Right. So this is the fund performance of FundSmith. You can see it's actually outperformed MSCI World Index, okay, since 2011 and up to 2023. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so Go Elite is the insurance policy that allows you access to FundSmith. Okay, and there also be certain payout from that. So there's extra 5% of the single premium units account value. Okay, and extra 10% on high payout accidental death as well, right? All these details I will not go inside. Okay. Okay. So for SRS policies, age minimum is 19 years old up to 75. Okay, and for SRS policy minimum is just $10,000. The more they contribute yearly, actually go into FundSmith using the TMLS Go Elite. For cash minimum, it will be 30,000, right, for the policy. And next is about the retirement plan. Okay, this is called I Retire by China Taiping. This is really to supplement your CPF life payouts. Okay, because you can actually set the desired retirement age to receive your monthly income, and this will complement your CPF life payouts and your regular withdrawal from SRS to actually meet your financial retirement needs. Okay, so when we talk about retirement plans, there's always a premium payment term, okay, and accumulation period and income period. So premium payment term is usually 5, 10, 20 years. The accumulation period is typically from the end of the premium payment term to when you receive your income is the accumulation period. Typically, the longer the accumulation period, the higher the income there will be drawn, right? The income period here is about drawing down of your retirement nest egg. So how long do you want to draw for? Draw for 10 years or 20 years? Okay. If you were to meet with this ability, there's also a loss of independence benefit. So there's some higher payout to you if you are disabled. And this plan is 100% capital guaranteed upon okay, and it's an easy application, no medical underwriting required. So you can see here, Timothy pays a yearly premium of 14,690 for 5 years. The total outlay from it is close to about 70,000. Okay, so he at 5 year premium, he chooses a 5 year premium payment term. Okay, at 62 years old, unfortunately, in a car accident, he loses his right limbs and he receives a loss of independence benefit of 12,000 which he can use to support his mobility care. Yeah. And at 65 years old, he actually starts to receive his first monthly income, out of which $500 is guaranteed and non-guaranteed is 668. So actually start to withdraw, receive this monthly income, 1168 came for the next 20 years. Okay, so if you were to calculate the total income received by Timothy, that would be $280,243, and that's a total yield maturity of 4.23%. And in terms of total payout over the yearly premiums paid, about 381%. Okay, so this is a retirement plan, typical retirement plan that you can uh, buy into to actually add another layer of income above your CPF Life monthly income. You can set at 65 to match CPF Life. You can set at 62 to complement your SRS withdrawal. If you want to retire earlier, you can set at 60 or even 55. So it really depends on your own investment profile, your retirement needs. Okay, so that's why the conversation with the advisor is very crucial so that we can recommend the right instrument to meet your objectives. Right? Okay, I won't bore you on these technical details. Okay, uh, so I want to highlight here there's a very important aspect of insurance instruments versus investment assets. Particularly this concerning the estate planning portion. Because at the Film Investment Center, we handle almost on a weekly or daily basis for the grant of probate, converting of estate account for the trading account or the investment account. So for investment assets such as your stocks, ETF, bonds, unit trusts, you cannot do a nomination form, right? So therefore, we require the grant of probate, okay, as we the grant of probate from a lawyer, along with the death cert and scheduled assets to actually convert the account into the estate first before we can start to take instruction from administrator to sell the assets. And after that, you'll be back to your estate bank account, and then from there you can distribute to accordingly, right? So it's a very long process. It could take up to 6 months, okay, or up to even a few years if your probate is more complicated and involves a lot of administrators and also maybe overseas properties. This can stretch to a few years, right? So in terms of insurance policy, it's relatively more straightforward because you're able to distribute it to the nominated beneficiaries listed in Form 4, which is known as a revocable nomination. So if you buy an insurance policy, you fill out this Form 4 revocable nomination form. You can state the beneficiaries and beneficiaries will receive a certain percentage according to your wishes, and upon if something will happen to you, issues come will pay out according to the nomination form to the various beneficiaries. So that would actually greatly enhance the estate liquidity when you're not around. So this is a very important aspect, right? And number two is about percentages, right? You can actually specify a certain percentage that you wish to distribute accordingly, right? And number two is about income payout. In terms of insurance policy, there's a guarantee component inside, okay? Or guarantee monthly or yearly income, certainty of cash flow. So CPF payout is almost certain on a monthly basis, right? Uh, and then we add this with the insurance uh, uh, retirement plans. There'll be a guaranteed monthly amount. Of course, add on the non-guaranteed as well. Usually, the insurance company will be able to hit the non-guaranteed portion. So that will give you a more certainty of cash flow for retirement. For investment payout, money payouts are almost non-guaranteed or the distribution can fluctuate. Over my career, I've seen the distribution drop multiple times, okay, due to the investment markets. And it really depends on the performance of the underlying company or sector, right? So if you see that, let's say that if the company is not doing well, they are not able to pay out more, right? They need to conserve cash to tide through the difficult times, and dividend payout may be affected, right? So in terms of the monthly payout for retirement, it's more non-guaranteed, right? And lastly, insurance policy are covered up to certain limits under the SDIC policy owner protection scheme. So for life policies, typically it's about 500K. For saving plans, 100K, and all these other companies. For more details, you can actually go to the website SDIC to find out more, right? And lastly, as the instrument that's good for the market now, okay, let's say you are very risk averse and you want to wait for the market. I think that the Philip Money Market Fund Smart Park facility could be something that you're looking at now. The returns have been quite attractive over the past 1.5 years or so. So what Smart Park is the access fund facility that allows you to manage your idle cash automatically. So there's no lock-in. The cash will be back to your bank account within 3 working days. And it's actually real returns, it's not projection. And our money market fund is more than $1 billion, one of the largest in the in Singapore. And they mainly invest into high quality short term instruments such as government bonds, corporate bonds, fixed deposit with banks, commercial bills. And right now, the returns is about close to 3.3% thereabout. It fluctuates. Okay, but this is very a close return to the fixed deposits. And I think note that there's no lock-in for this kind of return, right? All right. So this is a customer that put in the smart park with us. I think he put in close to the start of June and started to accumulate the returns for her. And you can see that over span of a period, it's grown to $10,025. Okay, so if this could be something good for the high interest environment now, if you're interested, you can always email me, and then I will explain more to you in detail. All right. Okay, and to everyone, this is Vince once again, and my email is cojy@philip.com.sg, and my office phone is 68121485. Phone number is 83688767. Okay, you can scan this QR code. I prefer if you email me to have to just have a one-to-one consultation. I'm always working in our headquarters branch, HQ City Hall office. And feel free to just email me. All right. So now let me just finish off the assembly by going to the Q&A. Some questions. Okay. Okay, we have one question from the today's recording made available. I'd like to share this talk with friends recordings so I can attempt. Thanks for the comments. I'll check if this recording can be made available. Okay, so that it's recorded and your friends can actually attend talk. Usually, I'll create this seminar on a bi-monthly basis. So if your friends are interested, you can also join the bi-monthly talks. I'll check if the recording can be made available, right? Can you talk about SRS through the CPF savings? ERS is Enhanced Retirement Sum. Okay, so it's a retirement PRS. For these two questions, okay, these two questions I suggest you can actually check with a CPF board. They might be clearer and better able to advise you. Okay, so whether CPF savings is top up only up to the FRS amount only, or you can actually top up to beyond FRS. And able to top up beyond this amount, it's this amount that you top up income tax deductible. These two questions I suggest you can check with the CPF board. Okay. Can you talk about SRS? Okay, what the SRS product components have? I believe we have this. If the particular counter or ETF can be purchased with SRS, you can actually select the fund source of SRS during settlement. Okay, so that shows that it can be used to uh, to purchase with uh, SRS. Number two is for unit trust. There I think you can select an SRS tab and you filter out all the unit trusts that you can purchase with SRS. Okay, and thanks for the question. One more important point to take note is that if you want to utilize the SRS funds to buy shares, ETF, unit trust, okay, using points, for example, you need to link up your SRS. Right? That's very important because you need to deduct the funds from SRS into the instruments, right? So you need to link up your SRS account details. If you do not know how to do it, you can approach you can come to PIC Investor Center to help you, or you can actually approach your remisier or your dealing team to help you to put in your SRS account number. You can email them and check with them. All right? Very important. Okay, another question is at what age do the CPF Life basic scheme stop payment? CPF Life is for life. Okay, so long you're alive, they actually pay out to you on a monthly basis, right? So even you live past, earlier on I showed you a chart whereby the payout stop at 8, your CPF lump sum actually stop at 82 years old, but you continue paying out for the standard and the escalating plan. Okay, so because this is a group pooling, all right, so we put fund together, group pooling together to actually continue to pay out for those members that are continue to be living, and they will continue to pay out for life, right? So it doesn't stop. Uh, so it only stop when you're no longer alive, right? So that's how it works. Yeah. So long you're alive, the CPF life will pay out to you, but even though the original amount is drawn down, right? Your investment portfolio is applicable for someone who has already retired with no active income. Yes, it is. So if you have no active income, this investment portfolio is able to create a monthly income for you, and actually that will help you to meet some of your retirement income and unlock some returns from your idle funds, especially if your idle funds is just sitting in the bank account, right? And now is a good time to invest in certain sectors, right? Such as fixed income, and Asia is undervalued now. So these are some sectors that you can invest into, consider to invest into currently. Okay, and when the interest rates start to pause or reverse, uh, bond prices start to come up. And you see a slow, a slow. Maybe you see a very small capital appreciation, right? Because people start to buy, start to the bond prices start to recover, and the bond prices recovery will actually push up the unit trust price for bond funds, right? But more specifics, you can always just we can have a chat in the branch, right? Okay, and maybe I take a last question because coming close to one. Okay, my annuity payout is 15 years. After my withdrawal of 10 years, must I need to withdraw my annuity? Uh, I hope you're referring to a retirement plan. Usually, after you draw down 10 years, there is certain policy value left in the this retirement plan, right? Uh, you can choose to withdraw a lump sum. You can check with the insurance company what's the return, what's the policy value. Okay. Uh, but ideally, if you do not need the lump sum now, it's better to actually draw out the 15 years because typically the returns would be better when you draw the full 15 years rather than take a lump sum and end the policy being 10 years. Okay, so I hope this answer your question. Of course, you can always go to the insurance company customer service, and they're very patient and very nice, and they'll actually explain the whole illustration to you. Or you can go to your financial advisor and have a update from him or her about this retirement plan, right? So uh, it's one, and I have to end the seminar. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time today to come to this seminar. I hope I've actually shared more insights about CPF and SRS for everyone, and I look forward to your inquiries, right? And I just want to thank everyone for your time today, and stay safe and have a nice day again. Bye bye.